Welcome back everyone. Now let's get started with the coding for our Maze Part 1 project. So once you have signed in to Scratch using our class account, click onto the class account name, click on My Stuff. This will allow you to see your previous projects, okay? Now, today Miss Claire has created a template for the Maze project for you. So all you need to do is to scroll down, find your name and the Maze template, click on See Inside to edit the code. Okay, so I'm going to show you with mine. So when you open your Maze template up, you should be able to see that I've given you a backdrop, a brown backdrop for the stage. I've given you 5 sprites, 2 caveman sprites. One is idle, which is standing still. The other one is running. The third sprite is a maze sprite, which is the actual white color maze itself. The fourth sprite is a trap sprite. Okay, and the fifth sprite is a water sprite. Now for today part 1, we will be coding only for the idle, running, maze and water sprite. We will not code for the trap sprite. Trap sprite, we will leave it for part 2. Okay, so do not get worried if you think that I missed out a step. I purposely missed out trap because that is for part 2. Today we're just going to do part 1, which is the basic gameplay. Okay, so let's get started without further ado. We're going to start with our running sprite. So this is the sprite that we will see most often when we are moving in the game. Okay, so click on running sprite. Let's get started with the coding. So when green flag is clicked, when our game starts, we're going to set this running sprite to forever change costume. So bring out a forever block, forever, looks, next costume, and then between each costume change, we are going to give it a bit of a wait time. Okay, so wait 0.1 seconds. Okay, so what happens here is, if you click onto the costumes tab, you will see that our running sprite has lots of costumes. And if you were to click through them one by one, you will see that it looks like an animation of a caveman running. Okay, so we're going to create this animation using the code forever next costume and wait. Alright, now once done, we are going to set our caveman to start at the bottom center of the screen, which is here. That's the start of the maze. So let's get started with the coding. When green flag is clicked, I'm going to start a new code. Go to the front. Okay, we're going to make sure that we can see our caveman sprite. So go to the front layer. We're going to set it to a small size because today's maze is pretty big. Okay, so set to a small size of 8%. And we're going to start it at the bottom center. This is about, okay, we're going to bring out this block, go to X and Y. X is about 10, Y is about minus 170. So that will bring us to the start of the maze at the bottom here. Okay, now once done, we're going to continue coding for the caveman running. We're going to make some arrow key controls. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. When green flag is clicked, okay, I'm going to set the position of the caveman to appear wherever it is. So forever, we are going to set, I've created 2 variables X and Y for you. So we're going to first set the X variable to this caveman's X position. So go to motion, bring out this X position block, pop it into the hole here. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate this block. Right click, duplicate. Okay, now we're going to do the Y position. So change the X to Y. Okay, Y should be Y position. So remove the X position block. Bring out the Y position blue block. Pop it into the Y0. Okay, so there you go. Now once done, we're going to continue the code. Now, I'm going to bring out if then else. If then else. Okay, if my caveman is sensing that I am pressing any key. So if key any press, it is going to show itself. So this means that when I press a key, I'm playing the game, the caveman running should show. Else, if I'm not playing the game, if I don't press any key, it should hide itself. Okay, we're going to hide the running sprite. Okay, now once done, let's do the movements. Okay, I'm going to do the movements on a separate side, then I will drag it in slowly to this code. Okay, so for movements, we have 4 movements, up, down, left, right. So let's bring out our conditions, if and then. Okay, let's do for up first. Sorry, let's do for the left arrow first. If sensing key left arrow press, then I'm going to move my caveman to the left. So that is a motion. Change X block. Change X by -4. We're going to make it small movement. So -4, smaller number. Okay, now what happens here is in our maze game, we have to prevent the caveman from going through the maze. Okay, so we have to block its movement every time it touches the wall. Okay, so we're going to add this blocking code inside the left arrow code. So once again, bring out a condition if and then, pop it under your change X over here. Okay, so if your caveman is moving to the left, but if at the same time it senses that it is touching the maze sprite, touching the maze, then we're going to move it backwards. So how to move it backwards? Copy the change X block. So right click, duplicate. Okay, oops, we don't need this one. Okay, we're going to go opposite. So we're going to change the sign to no more minus. That will be just a 4. Pop it into the gap here. Okay, so if key left arrow press, change X by -4. But if touching the maze, go backwards. Change X by 4 instead. Okay, so everyone, this is done for our left arrow. We're going to do this for our right, up and down movement as well. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to duplicate this whole code from the then. So right click, duplicate. Okay, I'm just going to put it here first on an empty spot. Let's change it slowly. So if key right arrow press, change X by, okay, instead of minus, we're going to the right. So that's a +4. Change X by 4. If touching maze, change X by -4, opposite. Okay, so everyone, left and right is done. I'm going to join them together. Now I'm going to copy, duplicate one of this for up and down again. So right click, duplicate. Okay, I'm doing this one movement at a time because there was going to be some changes. So next one, if key up arrow press. Now going up is not X anymore. So quickly delete all your change X. Okay, delete all the change X blocks. All right, when we are going up and down, if you look at this arrow here, up and down is represented by the letter Y. So we have to change the blue block, change it to change Y by, okay, put this under the up. If up arrow press, change Y by 4. And then I'm going to duplicate this. If touching the maze, change Y instead by -4. So this goes backwards, opposite. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate this up arrow code and I'm going to make the last one for down. So if key down arrow press, I'm going to flip the signs over, change Y by -4, that goes down. If touching maze, change Y by 4. So this goes backwards. Okay, so everyone, you should have a full code that looks like this. Okay, please be careful when you insert the if-thens into each other. Okay, now once done, you need to drag this entire movement block under your forever loop over here. Okay, because all these movements have to continue throughout the whole game. So how I'm going to do this is, I'm going to move my mouse to the first if, drag the whole group to the forever loop, put it under the if then else. Okay, can you see it? Put it under the if then else here. Let go, and you should see a long code that looks like this. Alright? Now to make it less confusing, I'm going to combine the first two codes because both are just starting codes, so we can combine them. I'm going to just shift the first forever, next costume, under the second code, which has the go to X and Y. Okay, I've combined the codes. Now I can remove this starting green flag for the first code because I don't need it anymore. Alright, so everyone, with this done, let's test the movement for the running sprite. So click the green flag. And you should see that when you press your arrow key, it should show itself. Okay, if you are not pressing the key, then it will hide. Alright, fantastic, it works well. And can you try moving to the wall? Okay, you will realize that you can't walk past or walk through a wall. Alright, so this means your code is working. Very good. Okay, now let's move on to the idle sprite. Okay, now what happens here is, do you notice when you don't play the game, your running sprite is hiding? So what happens here is when the running sprite is hiding, we're going to show the idle sprite instead. So let's do the coding for this. I'm going to stop the game here. Go to the idle sprite, click on idle. Let's do the starting code for idle. So when green flag is clicked, we're going to make the idle sprite go to the front. Okay, and then we're going to set a small size, same size as the running sprite. Okay, this is the original 100 size. That's too big. So we're going to set to size 8, same as the running sprite. And the same thing as what we did for running sprite. Forever, next costume. We're going to animate this sprite. Okay, your idle sprite also has a lot of costumes. So you can go and explore that later. Okay, and don't forget, between each costume change, we're going to add a little wait time, 0.1. Okay, now once done, we're going to do the position code to make sure this sprite shows when we are not playing the game. So I'm going to add another green flag click. When green flag is clicked, forever, if then else. So if now is going to be opposite from the running sprite. If I press any key on my keyboard, then this idle sprite that is not doing anything is going to hide itself, because when I'm pressing a key, it means I'm playing the game. Alright, the idle sprite shouldn't be showing. So I hide it. Else, if I'm not pressing anything, if I'm not playing the game, the idle sprite should show. So the second hole is for show. Okay, and just to make sure that the idle sprite appears at the same position as our running sprite, I'm going to add a go to code. Go to X and Y, and I'm going to pop in my variable X and Y inside. So this variable X and Y is actually the same position as our running sprite, which is over here. This one. Okay, we are setting the same position. Alright, now once done, test your game again. You will see that now when you are not pressing any key, you will see the idle sprite. When you are pressing a key and playing the game, you should see the running sprite. Okay, so now you will always see a sprite there, whether it's idle or running. That depends on what key you're pressing or whether you're not pressing it. Okay, now, yes, this is a very big project, so please be patient with me. We're going to move on to the maze sprite, the third sprite for today. So go to events, when green flag click. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make sure the maze sprite appears over here at the center of the game. So first, we're going to switch costume. Your maze sprite has a lot of costumes. We're going to switch it to the first maze costume, maze 1. And then we are going to make it go to the middle of the screen. So we're going to bring out this block. Go to XY, 0, 0. Okay, 0, 0. Alright, now once done, the last sprite that we're going to code for is the water sprite for today. So click onto the water sprite. We're going to make sure this water sprite that is the goal of today's game is right at the top here, at the end of the maze. So we're going to fix that code position. So when green flag click, let's first set the size to a small size. Set size to 10%, which is about this size. And we're going to go to the end of the maze. So that's on top. So go to XY. X is a -10, and then Y would be 170. This makes it start right at the top over here, which is the ending point. Okay, now everyone, before we end today's coding, we're going to add just one more code to the running sprite. So click the running sprite. Okay, we're going to code for it to touch the water sprite and cheer. Okay, so that's when it reaches the end of the maze. So let's find an empty space to do this. Bring out your green flag. So when green flag click, forever, if my caveman running is touching the water sprite. So if sensing touching water sprite, okay, we are going to play a sound. So I'm going to pull out a sound block first. So start sound. Okay, you will notice that I don't have a cheer sound. Oh, I do have a cheer sound. Okay, I'm going to add the cheer sound in. Start sound cheer. And I'm going to say yay for about 2 seconds before I make the caveman start at the starting point again. We're going to restart the caveman over here. Okay, so I will bring out my go-to block. Alright, under the yay, change the position. X is 10, Y is minus 170. Okay, now everyone, you have completed part 1 of the coding. So let's test this whole game out. I'm going to do a full screen. Green flag, click, and let's get started. So let me try to do this as fast as I can to get our caveman to the end of the maze. Now you notice that today's game is a bit quiet. So if you want to add your own background music, you can. Just do this code. When green flag click, forever play sound until done. Okay, that would be your background music code. Alright, here we go. Okay, and our caveman has restarted after it cheered and reached the end. Alright, so everyone, this is the end of your caveman project. Please save your work. Click on File, Save Now. Make sure that you see this sign, Project Save, before you click our class account and sign out. Okay? Then once you're done, go to eCampus, do your self-checklist. For students who see an error message, if suddenly you see this message, project cannot save, what you can do is to continue your coding until you're done. So just finish your coding, go to File, Save to Computer when you're finished. Okay, save to your computer. We are basically downloading the project, and then you will need to sign out of Scratch. Go to eCampus and upload this save project that you've downloaded into your computer. Okay, all the instructions are on eCampus, so just follow the instructions there. Alright, so everyone, thank you for bearing with me today. I know it's very long because this is a big project, but anyway, I hope you have fun with it. If you really cannot finish, just continue in class when we're together again. Okay? So see you next week. Have fun. Bye.